Welcome to Propy Wednesday webinars. It is today our 121st webinar. It is my pleasure to have with me in studio our CEO of Propy Title. We have Anna Atencio. We have hello to our viewers and visitors and live viewers, but going through with the introductions of our guests today is Rachel Toomey, who is an escrow officer with Propy Title and Escrow with 20 or so years experience in the field. We also have Lauren Murray, who is our account executive and someone that many of our clients interact with and our agents deal with all the time, just like they do with Anna and Rachel. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Today we talk about myths, and we talk about myths in the space of title and escrow. But before we go to talk about fun things, let's just remind you all that what we have here is the unique group of leading ladies that run the first ever blockchain title and escrow. And Anna brings to the table 20 plus years, decades of title work across the United States. And we're lucky to have her lead the first ever title and escrow on blockchain, part of Propy family. And Propy is, as you all know and love us and follow us, and thank you for joining us today, is the pioneer in the blockchain real estate innovation. So with that, Anna, you want to tell us about Propy Title? We launched in May. We're keeping you busy. We're making progress, and tell us what makes us so unique.
Well, I'll tell you, when I first heard about Propy and what their platform had to offer, I was pretty amazed. I had heard about blockchain technology back in 2017. Then it disappeared from the title industry as a whole, to me anyway. And then I heard about it again when I met the founder of Propy, and she asked me to join their team. So that was last 2021, January 2021. And, the technology of blockchain and what it has to offer and the security that we provide is unheard of. And I didn't ever think that I would be a part of this, because I thought it would be, after I retire. And I didn't think that I would have the opportunity to be a part of a company that is the leader in this type of technology. And what we bring in Propy Title is security. We bring transparency. And our number one challenge, as I've said before, is wire fraud. So we in this industry have a myriad of challenges, right? But wire fraud by far is probably number one. And I think that other title companies out there in the industry can agree with me. Billions of dollars are stolen by fraudsters on an annual basis. So what Propy Title has to offer in terms of security is data security for your buyers and sellers, and wire fraud prevention, which, the wire instructions never leave through any kind of media. They do not go through any type of email to an agent's email or to a borrower's email. They are in the platform. Only the buyer can see them. And in terms of data, as you all know, everybody knowing blockchain and the technology that it provides is that it keeps your data very, very secure. So it's a one-stop shop for everybody to come into and have everything known, what's going on. There's a timeline on top to tell you what is going to be needed, at what stage, the contract signed, and all the way through the end of funding and recording. Then we record on chain. So every party is invited in as a participant. They see what is going on every single step of the way. I don't believe that there is another company out there that provides this technology, and certainly not on blockchain.
You said it very well. It is an ecosystem. It is a offer to close, basically secure transaction platform. That's the vision for Propy, is eventually a few clicks to the ownership of the house. So Rachel, you are the escrow officer. So escrow is integrated into Propy platform. Tell us a little bit about your day-to-day, your services to the agents. I know, and I've heard stories from my peers, is the next day closings and and a few others. So let's start with saying, what is your day-to-day in helping us fulfill the vision of the company?
Yeah, so we handle the escrows, and we actually do handle mobile homes. Some people don't know that. I've done mobile homes in a different couple of states, and we had an agent that just gave us a chance, and the previous title company and escrow fell through in regards to just didn't get the job done in a timely manner. We closed in 2 days. With the teamwork of the agents and the buyers and us, we closed it in 2 days and had it dispersed because the agent and us worked together as a team and just got whatever needed to be done as quickly as possible. In our platform, I love the platform because agents can go in at any given time and pull the documents that they need. Instead of being buried in emails that they get over and over again, they can just sign in, get the documents. The buyers and sellers have the choice as well to go in there if they want to, or turn off a notification and just have the agent have the notification. So the buyers and sellers also have an option on how they have access to the platform, if they want the emails and text messages, or if they do not. It's not all or none. We are able to allow our clients to let us know how they want the communication. And that's key on it. They can go right in, or we can send it out of the system itself to them. That's the part I like. Agents want to know, hey, can I get the title report? We sent it 3 times. There's a glitch in the system somewhere along the line. They can just go right into the platform and pull it. So time saving for everybody across the board.
So I think what you're touching on is an important feature in Propy is the transparency. In addition to security and safety, is a transparency that parties to the transaction are invited to inside the platform and can view real-time the status. So since we promised some myths and some stories from the field, let's get to Lauren. And you've been working in the title industry for a while as well. You are day in and day out with agents on the phone. Tell us what the biggest misconception is. I have a couple of myths to throw out, but what do you hear is the one that is that you'd like to talk about?
I would say a challenge, some people are, they have clients out of state. They think it's going to be a lot harder. I'm here in Miami, where we have a lot of global buyers and sellers, and they think that that transaction is going to be a lot harder because they're not here. Where Propy Title helps with that is that we can close deals with anybody, anywhere. We do remote online notaries. We can do closings at the actual home. And that really helps facilitate the convenience. We can do signings after hours or on the weekends when it's convenient for them. Unfortunately, we haven't converted the banks to our hours yet, but the next time the bankers decide to start working. So, but we are customer driven and we want to get that deal done on the convenience of the agent and the buyers and sellers. So we'll help them do that anywhere they're at and anytime.
All right. So your myth is that we can only close you while the banks are open. So that's clearly something that we can bust right away. But Anna, I think the myth is that every closing is alike and everything goes smoothly all the time. You want to elaborate on that?
That every closing goes smoothly every time?
Exactly the same. And regardless of the circumstances or or states? So
I'll tell you, that is a misconception because we, even if something goes wrong, there's a resolution to every problem. And we in the title company within our ramifications can facilitate, and 99% of the time we come to a resolution to a problem. It's usually something that having to do with a buyer or seller being uncomfortable. That is a no-brainer. We talk to them, we let them know exactly how the platform works. We get them through the system seamlessly. And when we show them on our screen, because we do one-on-ones with them so that they understand, okay, where's my information, who is seeing this, and I show them, or we show them, everybody on our team show them exactly what they can and cannot see. Yeah, some things in the background sometimes go left, like a lender, where a lender is, and we have no control over that. Of course, there's nothing that we can do about that. But we did have an instance, not too long ago where the buyer wanted to pull out because they were uncomfortable with their loan. But they talked with the loan officer, and the loan officer, along with us, we were able to get the two parties together and everybody came to an agreement. So yeah, do we have bumps and bruises? Absolutely. We work in traditional transactions, and we're never going to get away with that. But in terms of our platform, yes, it makes it seamless. And yes, it makes it quick, fast, and easy. You can see everything that's going on the entire way. Now, if a lender had an issue and the loan was going to go south, we honestly have no control of that. So that is what happens usually in a transaction when it goes south, and that it would be because of a lender. It's never because of a buyer or a seller. It's usually a lender, and never title. It's never title.
I want to touch on something very important that you just said. And a lot in the industry know us as innovators in the blockchain technology. But you're talking about traditional deals day in and day out. And in fact, we've just recently been doing, last week, we were doing a little numbers game and talked about all the accomplishments and numbers and statistics for the company. It's a $4+ billion in real estate value transacted on Propy. So do we do traditional deals?
Yes, we do. We do traditional deals, and we do them very seamlessly where everybody can see what is going on at the same time. There is no limit on how many of those users per that transaction. Usually it's 4 or 5. You got a buyer, you got a seller, you have a buyer's agent, you have a seller's agent. And let me remind you, those 4 people, they have their different folders. There is no way that a buyer's information can be seen by a buyer's agent, by the seller, and vice versa for the seller. So data is kept securely and immutable so that nobody can get in and see what it is that is going on. Social security numbers, of course, we don't get the full social. We get the last 4. It's not required by us. The lender needs the full social so sometimes on their documents, they will have a full social. Don't have to worry about that on our platform. If those loan docs are up there, that buyer has everything that they need for that transaction from the beginning to the end in one file. When we close on chain, we place that QR code on the deed. We record it in the county. We place it back on chain. We close out the account. Everything gets stamped, time-stamped. Everybody knows when that document was loaded, who looked at it, when it was looked at, and that file closes. It becomes a closed transaction and viewable for life. So your information secure, everything is secure.
All right, and when it's needed, it can be pulled up because it is
anytime.
And the transaction records on blockchain. So the myth in the industry is, closings on blockchain are expensive and complicated. You have to do it twice. Anna, the floor is yours, or you're welcome to put one of our other panelists on the spot.
Yeah, Lauren, you want to take that one?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, the great thing is that that's just a service I explain to people because they're like, oh, that sounds expensive. And what does it cost my clients? And it's like, no, we do that. We're very passionate about it. And it's included in our very competitive fees already. It's just something that we do as a normal course of business. So it doesn't cost anybody anything extra.
Why recordings on blockchain are important? And why that's the future of the industry?
I'll take that. It's an immutable record of the transaction where deed fraud is on the rise. Natural disasters can come along, like in Louisiana, and ruin the municipality's records. And hackers on the municipality level can, again, mess with those transactions or their deeds. At the municipality level, you're always going to have this immutable record on blockchain. And we have courses that explain why blockchain. You can Google, but the way blockchain is set up is it's almost unhackable because it's basically little nodes of information that are connected to so many different nodes that a hacker would have to hack all nodes of the chain to be able to change that record. And it's almost impossible to do that. And as far as we know, it's impossible. So that's why it's an important backup source. And we actually have municipalities that are now wanting to get their records on blockchain. So that's just one way that it's very important.
Absolutely. This is the way of the future. Everybody, freaked out about the internet when it first came out. And, when you say that it's immutable, if you think about a brick wall and how they have the bricks in portions, and you can't just go in there and, a brick wall, yeah, you can break it down, but you can't go in and just pull one of those bricks out. There's no way that you can do that because it's mortared. You can knock it down, sure, but in a digital world, because that's where we live today, we live in a digital world. With it being an immutable record, there is no way that data can lose its link. So, blockchain is necessary. It's necessary for a lot of things, not just the title industry. We just happen to be in that industry. So with the municipalities coming in and getting on board with it, they're going to go backwards. I don't know if anybody out there joined our summit or came to our summit last March, but we had a very valuable speaker there, Tom Ferry, and he brought up, okay, which one of you out there is going to go backwards? Because he understands it. It's like, it's data moving forward, yes, but we also have data going backwards, and depends on the state. The state will require either a 30-year record of that land, up to 20 years. So 20 to 30 years is what you're looking at, depending on the state. So those municipalities, yes, they carry that record, but moving forward, once, this is the future, we're moving into the digital world, into the future. It is necessary, it is valuable, and it brings value to both your buyers and your sellers.
Very well said. Rachel, some believe in the industry that the experience of your escrow officers and title officers doesn't really matter. The closing is going to happen. You want to take that one?
Yeah, so we are the neutral party. So if a buyer and seller cannot agree on something, I cannot make a decision for the buyer or seller. I will sit and wait until I get instructions signed by all parties and there's an agreement. So everyone thinks, hey, I'm divorcing and my husband's going to get all the money. No, I'll put it on the closing statement. You get your half, he gets his half. It's already lined out for you. I follow instructions. I cannot move forward unless I have instructions in agreement.
So what you're saying is you better have experienced title and escrow and patient title and escrow team to pull it all together.
Well, yes, but it's also understanding where we can step in and where we have to step out of a situation, and an agreement has to be made outside of us because we are neutral. We cannot favor one side over the other. And that's a true understanding of escrow.
All right. So other stories, questions from the field. I'm sure that your collectively 50 years of experience have landed some interesting scenarios.
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah. There are so many things that are asked: what, when, why, how. What is an NFT? How do you, do a crypto transaction? How does a crypto transaction work? How is it funded? How can you do it? Is it legal? Do you have a patent? It's like, first of all, have anybody asked anybody in the internet if they have a patent? I don't believe so. This is I call it a buzz. I call blockchain a buzz. It is information that is its value, where the internet carries data, blockchain carries value. Okay, so that's how I think of it in my mind. So the value that is carried across, whether it's an NFT or cryptocurrency or a traditional transaction. Traditional meaning anything from in an NFT and in cryptocurrency, we're talking about property, real property. So if it is a building, a commercial building, residential building, whatever the case may be, we do it all. So in a crypto transaction, it's completely different than blockchain. You got crypto, Apple. You have NFT, orange. You have blockchain, banana. It's all three different categories, not one and the same.
All right. So that sounds like all of that fruit salad that we just talked about. We will have to probably peel apart and spend another week next week's on seminar talking about it. But let's bring back to the title and escrow services and how Propy does it different, and how we can either bring up stories from our life experiences or just recently things that went better because Propy was involved.
Lauren, you want to take that one?
I was thinking about that deal in Texas that came our way, and she was like, "It's a 2-week deal. Can you guys do it?" And we said, "Yeah." And it was a traditional deal because most of the transactions in today's market are traditional, and we do handle traditional. And Anna picked up and Rachel picked up the ball and ran with it, and we got that deal closed in what, 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks?
It was less than 2 weeks. Yes, we did.
Yep. So that was awesome. We can do things as fast as the municipalities and bankers will let us. So we are on it.
Yes, yes. And what makes it faster as well, because people say, okay, well, yes, you're entitled. You work traditional transactions. How is it that you're making it faster? What is it that you're doing that makes it faster? Well, everything is in one place. So everybody can see everything that's going on at the same time, as I mentioned earlier. But what makes it faster is that you cut those calls down. You don't really need to call in. The agent has more time to spend with their buyers and sellers or other buyers and sellers. The escrow officer has more time to build that relationship with their buyers and sellers or their agents. In the end, of course, everything is digital. We record digitally. And then in the end, with everything closing, everything is there. So you don't have to do packages here, packages there, packages here. It's all in one place. So that's what makes it faster.
Well, what also makes it faster is automation on
Yes.
on the smart contracts, right? Some of the manual triple verifications, and I'm seeing where Rachel is nodding, and I'm sure you're dying to weigh in of how the manual work through smart contracts and automation on the back end powers many of the pieces of the transaction and allows you to expedite closings.
Having all the information inputted in advance definitely helps on our end. With everything with the Propy platform and our title and escrow, I feel that everything that is done, the agents are loving the fact that they can just go in and start it. Say they have a listing, they can go into our platform and start putting in the information. So I already have a heads up that, hey, this transaction's coming, so I get the notifications that the agent's adding it to the platform. So I am already on alert that a new transaction is coming from that agent, and I can follow up and see if there's anything needed. If a seller net sheet, a buyer net sheet, what do they need to help get into contract?
Right. Yep, it's like a domino effect where the dominoes just take place. It just trickles down quickly.
Right. Yes. And so what I'm hearing is the technology does its part, but the humans and support for the agents and day-to-day hand-holding and both for the agents and supporting them with the interactions with the client plays a big role. Anything to add to this, Lauren?
No, but you touched on it. Some people hear blockchain and automation and they get scared, like, are we trying to replace humans? And real estate is a very human-based industry, right? And it's the communication. When I talk to agents, their biggest complaint when it comes to title is communication. I was talking to an agent the other day that was so happy with our communication. She talked to me, she talked to John, who's on the title team. Everybody was very quickly responding to her questions. And she was like, wow, this is what I've been missing. So when we're not spending time going through the emails, trying to find that document and, again, shuffling documents like they've already alluded to, we can actually spend time on the communication and building the relationship and helping close that deal quicker.
Yeah, let me piggyback on that. Another myth buster that I want to add is that there's a lot of realtors out there that say, are you trying to replace this? Absolutely not. The buyers and sellers are always going to need an agent's expertise when it comes to that property. So they will always be needed. Agents will always need to be within, their state, of course, whatever their regulations are. But that buyer and seller is going to need that agent's expertise always.
Well, we're coming close to the end of our live session. I did want to ask a question that came in over the wire. And what if there is a mistake on a deed and it is now recorded on title? And it is recorded now immutably on the chain. It's a hypothetical scenario. Who wants to check the box and answer it?
Well, I'll answer that. It's the same way. So mistakes are made. We're human. Things are going to happen. If a deed goes out and they said, oh, I don't need it in that name, or you forgot this, or you forgot that, whatever the case may be, there are a lot of reasons why a deed would change, or that there was a mistake on it. What if the legal description was incorrect? There are a lot of things that can factor in with a deed being incorrect. If it's recorded, we take the same exact process as if it were to happen outside of blockchain. We just simply record what's called a Scrivener's error affidavit, and it's, of course, state dependent. We fix that deed so that it's in that chain on that same QR code, so that everything is still on the same channel. Now, if that deed has to change by name, or if there is a name change, that really doesn't really ever happen. A name change really never happens. You have to redo that transaction so that the chain stays intact.
All right, so we are getting close. So I wanted to make sure that we summarize and tell our viewers and those who are watching us live. Would you please summarize it, Lauren, of why it is, what we do, why is it better, why is it important, and how to get in touch with us?
Well, my email is lauren@propy.com, very easy. And it's been alluded, I'll repeat it again. We are a one-stop shop helping agents streamline their business, save a lot of time, or eliminating that back and forth. A lot of, hey, seller, we got an offer, can't wait to tell you about it later. No, they get to log in, see it, compare apples to apples without all that aggregating of information themselves. And then once they accept that offer, rolls right into the transaction platform. Title and escrow pick up the ball and roll. I like to say there's 3 steps of the transaction: offer, transaction, and closing. And we can help them with all aspects of that. And again, try to make it as efficient and painless as possible so they can grow their business and talk to their clients.
Right. Anna, as a CEO of Propy Title, have we forgotten to mention something that we should have mentioned?
Have I forgotten something that I should have?
All of us. Is there something, your closing thoughts as we are wrapping up our live webinar today?
Well, I'll tell you, there is so much to be said and so much to say, and we get a great deal of questions. There's no way that we can cover it in 30 minutes, but I believe that today we did list the myth busters that are out there. I think we caught the main ones. I'm happy to answer any other questions that anybody else has. In terms of a myth, who we are, what we are, and are we legal? Absolutely, we're 100% legal. I've got 23 years in the business, with also in the military 23 years. You can see my flag back here. I retired in 2012. Our main focus in the military was integrity first, and that is embedded in me. So that's something that has been from day one in business, is integrity, and we follow all the rules, regulations of every governing agency. It's very important that you all know that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies, for helping run the webinar today. We hope you come back. And Lauren, parting words.
Yes, I was going to say, I would say the biggest myth about Propy is that we are a thought leader and, you know, a leader in the Web3 industry and space, but we also are very traditional. We will do your traditional deals. That's probably the biggest thing we always get is like, oh, but you also do traditional real estate? Yes, of course. So come try us out on all of your deals.
All right. Well, thank you very much. This concludes our broadcast today. We appreciate folks who watched us across the streamed content. So thank you. We'll see you next week on the webinar 122.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.